All right, Brendan Taylor here, Tru School Sports. I got a very special guest. All right, I got to make sure the introduction is proper here. I got a very special guest. All right, the lovely, equally talented Kristyna Ramirez. Kristyna, good to finally get you on. Tru School Sports, because I've been seeing you everywhere else. Been seeing you around at fights and just through the years knowing you whatnot on Instagram. So it's good to have you on. Talk some boxing.
Thank you for inviting me. I feel like this is a good opportunity for both of our channels and just to get to know each other a little bit more too.
No, for sure. Because I know, like with fight week, right? Everything's just moving so fast, so there's no time to really talk or so. But anyway, Kristyna, look, I know you're relatively new to the boxing world and the boxing industry. I kind of wanted to get my audience, the fine folks here on Tru School Sports, familiar with you and what you got going on your channel. KO Kristy. So before I get into just your story, just tell them about your channel.
Okay, so I started it, I want to say last year in February. But I feel like this year is when it's finally starting to take off a little bit. I spent all of last year trying to get interviews going. I started with Zoom interviews. In August, I started covering actual fights. So the first fight I covered was the Navarrete versus Valdez fight. And that's when I started actually getting in-person interviews. So it's been a little bit, half a year that I'm coming into a year that I'm going to events and just uploading it on my channel. But yeah, I'm just getting experience interviewing fighters because that's what I've always wanted to do.
You said you're getting experience interviewing fighters. Now you seem pretty comfortable. For somebody who's getting experience, you seem pretty comfortable so far.
Really? Oh, cool. I'm faking it sometimes.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. A lot of times I fake it too. So we all do it. We all do it. How did you? I guess how did you become a boxing reporter? What you said you've always wanted to do it. Why was it always an ambition of yours?
Because I grew up with the sport, so it was always. I felt like it's the only sport I know, and I don't know, for some reason I used to volunteer at my uncle's gym in Oxnard as the receptionist, and there was times where they would have media workouts, and there was one time that Top Rank went. I forgot whose media workout it was, but I knew I was a Top Rank card because everyone from Top Rank was there. Christina Poncher was there, all the media people, and it was inspiring just to see Kristyna there because I never really saw that. So I remember going up to her and I told her, I was like, hey, what do I need to do to do what you're doing, your job, what you're doing, reporting? Because I don't know, it was always cool to see a woman in the sport,
Yeah.
And she was telling me that I would need a bachelor's in journalism. And I was like, ever since in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, a bachelor's in journalism. And that was, I want to say, my sophomore year of high school. I was around 16 years old. But yeah, it's always been in the back of my mind. I've always loved the sport ever since I was little. So it kind of made sense to do that. And now I'm about to graduate with a bachelor's on Tuesday.
Look at you, all grown up. Doing your thing.
Yes.
But you mentioned your uncle. Obviously, your uncle. I know it's not something you bring up all the time.
Yeah.
Your uncle is Robert Garcia. A renowned trainer in the sport. What's it like? I guess I know he's your uncle, so it's probably normal. But how do you feel he's molded and shaped maybe your perspective and love for the sport?
Oh, he has I have a strong perspective because of him, because they're always talking about it. Every time we get together with family, we're always talking about boxing. There's never a day that it's not involved. So I feel like just having that knowledge behind what goes on behind the scenes, or I don't know, it's just a different, I don't even know how to describe it actually. Wow.
It's just
would you say
it's part of your DNA pretty much?
In a way, I guess you could say that. Yeah, there's not a conversation that goes on without it being boxing involved.
That's good. That's kind of how I think I am in my life. There's a couple of times where I'm not talking about boxing, but most of my friends are involved in boxing, so it's hard to not talk about boxing.
Yeah.
So it's probably that thing. I know you got Robert, you got Pita and all of them. So. Okay. Well, there you go, Kristyna. Make sure you guys go subscribe to her channel. She got we're at 3,000 now.
Yeah, 3,000 finally.
Just like that. So soon
I hit 1,000 this year, and I got monetized this year. Now we're at 3,000.
Yeah, it's always tough getting monetized. I mean, YouTube's so
Yeah, it
different
was
now.
really hard.
It's so different now than when I started.
Why?
Because like when I started YouTube back then, like the day you started your channel, you were already monetized. You get views and
Oh,
you connected, and yeah, it was crazy. But
yeah.
it's so much more difficult now, I think. But I respect everyone who gets into it now.
No, yeah, it was really difficult getting it because at first we had to hit 500 followers, and then once I hit 500 followers or subscribers, I guess you could say, then it moved to 1,000. So I was like, what the heck? So I had to get another 500. I was like, okay, this is tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what else is tough was that heavyweight fight yesterday, that Tyson Fury, Alexander
Right.
Usyk, and that's really the talk of the town in boxing right now. What did you make of the whole fight?
So I was actually busy covering the Navarrete fight, so I didn't actually get to watch it live. I just saw the highlights, but from the highlights and then what people were saying, they were saying it was a close fight. I'm not too sure. And then the 9th round came, and Usyk almost got him out of there. So that was really exciting. I like both fighters. I'm glad Usyk won because I don't know, I like his personality. He's super funny.
Yeah.
But hats off to Fury too. Like, he put up a good fight from the highlights, at least from what I saw.
Oh yeah, so you didn't watch it in its entirety yet?
No.
Oh dang. Okay. Well, yeah. It was a good fight. Fury was boxing pretty well from the outside early on. Usyk stalked him the whole fight, and then eventually hurt him, and I think it was like the 9th round, and had him ready to go.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting to see that the highlight of that round because it seemed like he was about to fall. Just the ropes held him up.
Yeah,
and I think that was the round that one judge scored it 10-8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, because they ruled it a knockdown because the ropes held him up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so bad. I mean, I know you saw it. Like, Fury couldn't even pick his arms up to defend himself. Like, it got that hectic for him in there.
Yeah, but I need to rewatch it because everyone's talking about it, so I kind of feel left out right now.
Yeah, you gotta go watch it. You gotta watch. So maybe I'll bring you back and you can give me like your full breakdown.
Okay, for sure.
So I mean, I guess it'd be kind of hard to ask you if you think if Usyk is pound number one now because you didn't watch the fight.
I didn't watch the fight, but I feel like he's up there, man. I don't like the pound for pound list. I don't like those pound for pound lists because I feel like everyone has a different list. And there's so many great fighters that deserve that, you know?
Yeah, no, it's true. I try to always like stay away from it, but then I get sucked into it every now and then. So like it's hard, and I think now it's gonna get even worse now because first it was Inoue Crawford Inoue. Now you got Usyk up there. Then Bivol and Beterbiev are gonna fight, so then they're gonna get some push. So it's
that's
just
my
tough.
point. Like I feel like they all deserve that credit.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I just got to the point where I'm just learning to appreciate the fights as they come,
Exactly. Yep.
Because you get
we're finally getting these fights. We're finally getting these fights. People have been asking for them for a while, and now that they're finally here, it's satisfying to see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, you know what? I probably it'd be better off to ask about the fight you were at. The top rank card. All right, Navarrete, Berinchyk. Was not the cleanest fight in the world, for putting it lightly.
It was so awkward. It was so awkward.
Tim Bradley had the one line where he said that it looked like two drunk uncles fighting in the backyard.
He said that? Oh my god.
Yeah, he said it right on TV.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was really awkward, and I feel like the momentum from the fight before, everyone was like super hyped up for that one, and then when Navarrete came, like the crowd kind of died down.
When Navarrete came, it died down?
Yeah.
Or you're saying from Brian Norman and Santillan?
Yeah. Okay. Everyone was up like, it was crazy. That one was a crazy fight.
That was a crazy fight. To me, I mean, I know Usyk got all the headlines. That was the performance of the week for me.
It was a really great fight. It was a good fight. Santillan he did what he could. Obviously, I was rooting for Santillan because my T. Robert was in the corner. But no, Brian Norman did his thing. The only thing I didn't like was the fact how he celebrated it after. It would have made sense. I mean, I guess to each their own, but Santillan was so respectful, like leading up to the fight. So that was just kind of like, why would you do that?
I get it.
It's boxing.
From Brian's perspective, I feel like maybe the reason he did that wasn't anything probably directed at Gio. It's just that he's had like a rough go his last couple fights. Like, he was a big prospect that was signed by Top Rank and had a bunch of not so good performances, like against Janelson Figueroa and Quentin Randall, and so he just kind of letting it all out, like all the people talking trash about him, he gonna get beat up, and
then he was the underdog too. Like the whole crowd was for Gio, so I see his perspective, but at the same time, I was like, that's kind of disrespectful. Yeah, but to each their own. To each their own. People were bringing up the Chris Colbert fight with the Rayo fight. Yeah, they're like, it's the same thing, and I was like, but they actually had bad blood. They were talking, smack to each other leading up to the fight. So I don't know, but we all interviewed him afterwards, and he was saying that it was all for show, like it was just for the TV. But he believes. I asked him this question actually. I was like, do you believe Santillan's been the toughest opponent to date? And he said yes, because this quote, he's like, he has that dog in him, and he's no what do you say? He's no punk. He's no punk. Yeah. He's no punk. He has that dog in him, and just to come back, he believes he could come back.
I mean, it's gonna be tough because Gio took that. Yeah. That's one of those beatings that could really take some fights off your career, you know. So I hope he comes back because I like Gio. He seems like an honest stand-up guy. Yeah. As far as Brian Norman Jr., like who do you want to see? Actually, hold on, Kristyna. For some reason, I don't know why your picture's it's like choppy. It's like sometimes it's blurry, sometimes it's clear. I think the audio is good, but you're like it's choppy and it's like sometimes it's clear. It's like coming in and out.
Really? It looks good on my end.
Does it? Maybe it's me. It might be me. So I'll just we'll run it and we'll see how it comes out. And then if not, maybe we could redo it. But getting back into it though, Brian. Now that Brian beat Gio, who do you think he could? Who do you want to see him fight next? What do you think would be a good fight for him next?
A good fight for him?
Yeah. Because now like he got the interim belt, he's probably gonna get elevated and become champion for the WBO. You got Barrios, the WBC. You got.
I was gonna say Barrios. I think that would be a good fight. I don't know if they would make it though. They have different promoters. Or is Barrios is he a free agent or is he still with PBC?
He's a PBC because he's a Bob Santos. So if you're a Bob Santos fighter, you're a PBC pretty much. Okay. So you got him. You got Boots. You got Jaron Ennis. You got the IBF.
I feel like Boots. Oh, that would be a good fight. That would be a good fight. I feel like I don't know. That was my first time seeing Brian Norman fight though. He really impressed me. The way he like slicked back and just threw the uppercuts. It was pretty slick. Yeah, Boots. I think with Boots and Mario Barrios, I feel like those would be really good fights for him.
Those will be good fights. I think Boots versus Brian Norman will be a really explosive fight. Like two really explosive guys. It's crazy that you said that was your first time seeing Brian Norman fight. Because if that was your first time seeing Brian Norman fight, you think this guy is like the best thing ever. You know, I've seen him fight like 4 or 5 times, and I was waiting for that. I've been waiting for that performance, and so it was crazy to see it last night.
I think his youth helped him out a lot too, because he's only 23. He's only 23, so he has his whole career ahead of him.
Yeah, that helped him, and I think Giovani Santillan. I don't know what it is. I never seen Brian Norman fight a southpaw before. He looked very comfortable against a southpaw stance. And Giovani was right there in the pocket, just willing to trade and willing to exchange and willing to go into the fire. So it just helped him out.
Yeah, but. Man, I teared up for that fight, not gonna lie.
Did you? You cried?
I did. It was so sad. It's a different, I guess you can say, I don't know how to describe it. I guess I get more emotional when it's family involved.
I hear you, I hear you. Yeah. I mean, I've got a handful of friends that are fighters, so I've been there before a couple times. So yeah, I get it. Back to Berinchyk, though. I didn't really get to talk about Berinchyk. Dennis Berinchyk beat Navarrete. What do you think about potential fights for him? Because I know one of the guys that's mentioned is one of the guys in your TO stable, Raymond Muratalla. So what do you think? Maybe that fight or.
I feel like that would be a really great opportunity for Raymond. I feel like Raymond. I think he could beat him. Honestly, I feel like Berinchyk has an awkward style. He has an awkward style. I don't even know how to describe it, but I want Raymond to get that opportunity. He's been waiting for it for a while. He's been waiting for that for a while already, and he's ranked up there. So I just want him to get that opportunity to showcase his skills.
Not for sure. And I know Raymond, I I spoke to Robert Garcia when I was in Arizona for the Valdez fight, and they said they wanted the Shakur fight, and there was a whole big thing about why it didn't happen. Shakur Stevenson and Muratalla. So hopefully he gets the Berinchyk fight. He beats him. Maybe he's close to a Shakur fight.
Yes. He called out Shakur too. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he did. He called out Shakur, Keyshawn, everyone.
I think either Shakur or Muratalla would be really great opportunities for both of them.
I think so. I think Berinchyk, like, he's in a good position because, like, he's clearly the weakest champion in the division. Like, you got Shakur, Tank. Like, he's gonna be looked at as the easiest guy with the belt. So everyone's gonna want to fight him. So he's sitting. In my opinion, I think he's sitting pretty.
Muratalla, bring on Muratalla. Home.
You know, speaking of Raymond, one last thing on Raymond, because I know you're there in the RGBA gym. You got insight probably that none of us got, right?
Mm-hmm. Here and there. I only go in there when I get an interview. But
okay, so you're not there every day with your notepad,
not every day.
Okay. But what do you think makes Raymond stand out from, like, the other guys at 135, other contenders?
I think his dedication to the sport. Like, whenever he doesn't have a fight, he's still training, he's still having diets. He's just very dedicated to his craft, and I think that's what stands him out.
Dedication to the sport, yeah. Because boxing is like a jealous woman, you know. If you don't give it all of yourself.
Too. He's very slick. I like his. I went in there one time to do it was a school project, and I did it on him when he was gonna fight Nakatila. And I went one time when he was sparring, I was getting video footage with him sparring, him training and stuff, and just the way he moves, it's swift. It's nice and swift, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I don't know, he seems comfortable in there.
Okay, so like you would say he's a very fluid fighter.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what happens with Muratalla. You know, one of the fighters that I talk about a lot on this channel was over there in Japan, the monster Naoya Inoue. Yes. Did you watch the Nery fight? Was that a fight?
I did.
Okay.
Every time he fights, I wake up and then I end up falling asleep. But this one, I actually stayed up and watched the full fight. Okay. Because over here, it's tough. Yes, it's tough. Because over here, it's like 5 a.m, earlier if that, and I'm tired by that time. I just want to sleep. But this time I was like, no, I'm gonna stay up. I want to watch it, and I didn't. It did not disappoint. That was a crazy fight. He got knocked down in the first, then he came back in the second and just dominated the entire thing. He's very exciting. Very exciting.
Nice, very exciting. And one thing that was impressive was his composure. You know, because when you get knocked down, you know, you never know how you're gonna react.
And that was the first time getting knocked down, correct?
First time getting knocked down.
Though his mentality towards that really showed that he's a true champion.
Absolutely.
If it happened before, but I was like, oh damn, I would have been freaking out.
What if you got knocked down?
No, I'm saying I would have been freaking out. If that was me, I would have been like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to remain calm in there. The ring's a crazy place.
Yeah.
With that win against Nery, you know, he's defended the undisputed titles again at 122. He's probably gonna fight maybe one more fight at 122 and then probably be at featherweight. I know you messaged me one day and you were like
Venado.
You want the Venado fight. That's a fight that really interests you. Why does the Venado Lopez Inoue fight interest you out of all the matches at featherweight?
Because I feel like Venado has such a unique style that I feel like he's the only one that can actually give him problems.
Yeah, of the champions.
Yeah. Because you don't know where his shots are going to be coming from. He throws shots from everywhere. So I don't know. And then a new division, he's going to be heavier, you know. He's already stamped 126. So him going up there, I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting. And then he's Mexican. Come on, I gotta root.
You gotta go. You gotta support La Raza. You know, you gotta stick with that. I got you. Venado, look, I mentioned it to you. Venado has a pretty interesting fight. He's got to get through before he talks about anything. He's got the Angelo Leo fight in August, and that's gonna be tough. You know, and I know there's talks of Venado maybe fighting Valdez at 130. I don't know if you've heard about that, but
I've heard. That's why he was at his previous fight with Liam Wilson. Yeah.
That's why he was there. He was there to scout.
Scouting, yep.
Yeah.
That would be a very interesting fight too.
Valdez and
playing out.
Valdez and Venado.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting fight. I think Valdez being the bigger guy and the aggressive counterpuncher. I think like Venado, he has a unique style, like you say. But Venado, if you can time him with straight punches, you can beat him. I mean, it's already happened a couple times in his career with Ruben Villa, Abraham Montoya, those kind of guys. But I would slightly favor Valdez in that fight. I think it'd be a good fight.
Yeah. I think.
How about you?
Ooh, I think I'll slide a little bit towards Valdez too, just because I know him personally. Like I've talked to him, I've interviewed him.
So you're being biased.
Huh?
I'm joking.
What?
I say you're being biased. I say you're being
No,
biased.
I mean,
I'm joking.
It's a slight favorite, but just because I've interviewed him and I've gotten a chance to actually conversate with him, so I know how he is personally. I've never had the opportunity to interview or talk to Venado, so I don't know. It's just more like I guess you could say bias.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
We all have them. We all have them. But no, it's a good fight, and I hope it happens. Is there anybody else that won
for that one?
Huh?
The fans will win for that fight for sure.
They will. I think the fans are going to win in general when it comes to the featherweight division, because I've been saying the whole year, like 2024 is the year of the featherweight division. It's already delivered a lot of great fights this year.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. Anybody else at 126 for Inoue or just Venado? I know you got Espinoza, another Mexican. You got him. You got Raymond Ford.
Is Oshaki 126?
No, he's 130.
Oh, he's 130. I don't know. I feel like the one that I would like to see was Venado.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good fight. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of moving pieces in that division. I know like Terence Crawford, and that's what I wanted to ask about now is Terence Crawford. He's got this big fight with Madrimov coming up on August 4th? August 4th is the date. 3rd? There you go. Thank you. That's why I keep you around. August 3rd, he's fighting Madrimov. If he takes care of business like he's expected to, there's the Canelo fight. How do you feel about the Canelo fight? Are you like one of those boxing purists that's like, no, he should fight guys his weight class, or are you all for the big?
I mean, fight? I wouldn't mind. I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it. I feel like the two, like, I don't know. I'm like iffy with that because yes, I do believe weight classes matter, but at the same time, they're huge names, so they're gonna do whatever they're gonna want to do either way. Yeah, especially if the money's right, why not? And I'm gonna see it either way. So, but I don't know. I feel like they should stick in their weight class because the only fight we want to see Canelo fight is Benavidez. Like, come on, we want to see that fight. Why is Crawford? I'm not talking about. I love Crawford, but I'm saying like, why is he gonna be moving up weight classes to fight him when he can take over the 154 division right now?
He wants to cash out. He wants that money. He wants that guap.
Yeah. I don't blame him either. I don't blame him. What about you? Do you believe in just weight classes?
I'm a boxing purist. So if I had it my way, if I was the commissioner of boxing, Terence Crawford would be fighting Jaron Ennis like yesterday. He would have fought him. That's what I'm saying. That's the fight I want to see.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I mean, I get it, but I don't like that. Like, because Terence, when he was trying to get the Errol Spence fight all those years, Errol kind of was big timing him and playing the both sides of the street thing. And, now that he beat Errol, he kind of, in my opinion, started acting like him a little bit with boots and, kind of like role reversal type thing. And I just don't like it. But I get it. He's been in the sport for a long time. He wants to get paid. Boots doesn't bring I get all that. I just want to, but as a boxing fan, I want to see the fight because I feel like Crawford and Boots, the exchanges you would get and like how Crawford's never fought anybody as athletic as a Jaron Ennis. Like he's the guy that I feel most closely resembles him. So to see how he deals with somebody that has some of the same skills he has.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's what I mean because why are you looking at different weight classes when you have clearly you have people in your weight division that can give you really great fights?
Yeah.
And same thing with Canelo. Like, why is he going to fight someone smaller when he can fight David?
Because Canelo Alvarez is in a very powerful position where he can dictate things. And, I've said a lot of things about that over the years. I don't want to talk bad about nobody no more. But
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I love
But
both fighters. I interviewed Canelo.
I seen it. I seen it.
So excited.
Yeah, I seen that. What did you think about him against Jaime Munguia?
I've always felt like Canelo was gonna win. Munguia did put up a great fight. He was using his distance in the beginning rounds. Like first 3 rounds, he was doing really good, using his distance, using his jab. But then Canelo obviously caught up to him. 4th round came, he knocked him down, and I feel like ever since after that knockdown, like he kind of just took control over him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's at that level, but this fight's definitely gonna help him for sure, in my opinion.
It definitely should. I mean, Canelo Alvarez is one of the best counter-punching fighters in the sport. He's very, very composed fighter. So obviously, Munguia will have learned a lot in that fight. I'm really intrigued to see, like, you know, how do they match Munguia? You know, because there's still a lot of interesting names in and around this weight class. You got like the Edgar Berlangas of the world and David. Well, Morrell's going at the 175, but he was there.
Is he really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's going up to 175 to fight. I don't know if you're familiar with I can't even say his name, it's bad. Radivoje Kalajdzic, they call him Hot Rod. He fought Beterbiev one time years ago and got knocked out in like 6 rounds.
Maybe if I see a picture. I'm really bad with names sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I've interviewed him and everything. I butcher his name all the time. But
really?
He's going up to 175.
How do you see that fight playing out?
David Morrell and Hot Rod? David Morrell, I think David Morrell will stop him within 7 rounds. Hot Rod's like a big, strong guy. I think he relies a little bit too much on his physical strength, and like his last fight he fought Sullivan Barrera on Pro Box, and he actually wound up knocking out Sullivan Barrera. But like even in that fight, Sullivan Barrera is very slow, and he was able to punch in between the shots. So I feel like a young, strong, guy like Morrell should be able to capitalize on the hand speed, and so it's a good introductory fight to light heavyweight. That's how
right. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, especially with David in that too.
Yeah, 175 is starting to heat up.
Yeah.
I know it got postponed, and I'm really sad about it because I was looking forward to Beterbiev Bivol. That was like the fight for me, one of the fights.
Really, yeah.
How did you?
Was that going to be in Saudi?
Yes, June 1st. It was going to be like in 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks, June 1st.
Damn.
Yeah. How did you see that fight before the injury? Like, do you see it any differently now that Beterbiev got injured again, or would you see it the same?
I think I would still see it the same. How would I describe this fight? Beterbiev is a really strong hitter. Like, he has ring IQ as well, but I feel like Bivol can definitely outbox him. If Beterbiev is able to land, I feel like he could stop him. But I don't know. I feel like I just want to see a good fight. I just want to see a good fight. I can't choose between them because I really like them both.
Me too. I'm a big fan. Well, I can choose. I think Beterbiev is gonna. I don't know. I'm having some second thoughts with the injuries now, but I'm really high on Beterbiev. I feel like that fight it's the best technical pure boxer in the sport, which is Bivol, against the best finisher in the sport. So someone's best has to give in this fight. It's
basically gonna be who wants it more.
I think it'll turn into that kind of fight, but I think it's a good fight because it's a great fight because Bivol, I don't think he's ever beat anybody with his A or his B game. I feel like he's always used the bare minimum to beat the guys he's beat because nobody's been able to make him dig into his skill set. And Beterbiev is going to. He's going to make you fight. Whether you like it or not, you have to fight. And Beterbiev is so good at knocking people out that people forget that he's a world-class technical fighter himself. So I feel like him fighting a guy like Bivol, so that's the beauty of it to me, that fight.
Right. Styles make fights. That should be a really exciting one. When did it get postponed to?
It got I forgot the exact month, but I'm pretty sure it's like the third or the fourth quarter of the year, later on in the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
I mean, time goes by fast, so hopefully,
especially in boxing.
Yeah, so hopefully we don't wait too long for it.
Yeah, hopefully not, because time
at
goes
least
by.
Hopefully it doesn't feel too long.
It's gonna feel long to me because it's a fight I really want to see.
Right.
And waiting so long for it, none of the American promoters could get it made, so that's why I had to go to Saudi.
Right. I'm excited. Talking about like waiting, like anxiously waiting for a fight. I'm excited for the Bam and Gallo fight.
I was just gonna see. Well, I want to quote.
That's the one I'm very excited for.
How do you? I mean, I know I'm pretty sure I know who you're picking, but you know, give me your perspective, your most unbiased perspective you can give on that fight.
Bam is in a tough fight. But he's gonna have his A game. Like he just wants big fights at this stage in his career. Like he was telling my uncle that, because he just had a newborn, and he was telling my uncle that if it wasn't the Gallo fight, he would rather spend time with his newborn. Like he was not gonna get a fight if it wasn't Gallo. So he wants it. He's hungry and he wants it, and we've seen what he's been doing in the divisions actually. Yeah. I'm not just gonna say one division.
Up and down.
But yeah, he's in a tough fight. He's in there with one of the greatest, I would say, in that division, if not the greatest. He has all of the experience in the world, so I feel like this fight's gonna really help him out as well.
Yeah, it's an amazing fight. I think it's gonna be interesting seeing Bam try to work those those angles he takes with his legs. That's the side steps, somewhat like the Orlando Canizales like side steps that he likes to use. I want to see how that works against an elite counter puncher like Gallo, because Gallo's one of the best counter punchers in the business.
I feel like Bam has the youth advantage, and then he's active. He's active here. So I don't know. I'm very excited to see how that turns out, but I'm rolling with Bam.
I know Bam is pissed off because Gallo was talking. He was talking about him. Like he was saying some not so nice things about him.
What was he saying at the press conference?
Said, like I forgot when it was. I think it was after one of Bam's fights. He was like saying like that Bam hasn't beat anybody and this, that, and the third. Wow. Yeah. And then
actually, no, I'm lying. I think I did hear something like that. I think it was after the Sonny Edwards fight at the press conference. One of the reporters mentioned that he said he wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for this, I'm pretty sure it was for the Sonny Edwards fight. If I'm sorry, but that he wasn't impressed. And I remember Eddie Hearn saying, "Well, he's the only one that wasn't impressed." Everyone was impressed by him that night. So I think I did hear that. But then I also saw an interview that they did that night, and he said he was impressed. So I don't know who to believe.
It is what it is. All we know is they're fighting on June 29th in Arizona, and it's going to be an amazing fight. And if Bam wins, I mean, Bam's pretty much cleared out damn near the whole old guard at 115, except Chocolatito. But we know he's not going to fight him because of the whole Tekken Promotions thing of Mr. Honda. So that's unfortunate. But
plus they're friends too.
They are friends. But I'm glad you said that. What's your take on that? Like when fighters say, "I'm not going to fight him because he's my friend," because there's examples in boxing history of friends fighting each other and giving great fights. And, and there's that line of thought, like if he's really your friend, well, wouldn't the friendliest thing to do is make money with your friend?
I feel like if the price is right, they will end up. But as of right now, I think it's it's a respect thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
If the price is right, you never know. Money talks.
Money talks.
Money talks.
It's like that wrestler. There's this wrestler that one time said that everybody has a price.
Yeah.
Yeah. $1 Million Man. That was his name.
That was his name? $1 Million Man.
Ted DiBiase, Google him. Okay. You get a chance. YouTube.
When I get a chance.
Sticking on Bam actually, because I was gonna get ahead of myself, but sticking on Bam. If he does beat Gallo, what are some fights you think would be big for him? I mean, there's one fight I think would be big for him, but what do you think?
Who's in that division right now? Hold on. I always get confused with
he's at 115. So right now I think the WBO champion is Kosai Tanaka from Japan. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's very good actually. Mm-hmm. He's a WBO champion. I'll tell you the fight I think I like to see him in. The fight I'd want to see him in is not even in that weight class, which it actually in the weight class right above him and Junto Nakatani.
Ooh, that would be a great fight.
Yeah,
that would actually be a great fight.
Yeah.
Junto Nakatani's who did he got knocked out of the year last year, no?
Yeah, against Maloney, one of the Maloney brothers.
That was insane. That would be a great fight, actually. That just sparked up my mood.
Yeah. I see you over here glistening now, just smiling. Yeah, no, because like Junto is really tall. He throws a lot of punches because and the thing is, Junto has a lot of Mexican influence. Rudy Hernandez is a trainer. He trains out there in LA at Knockout Boxing. It'd be really intriguing to see Bam try to get past the reach of a guy like Junto.
Yeah. How tall is he?
Junto's like, I'm gonna say Junto's like 5'7". He's tall.
Taller, yeah.
He's tall. There was a picture I saw of him and Terence Crawford. They were damn near eye level.
Oh damn. That would be interesting. That'd be a tough fight too.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like because people are always in the talk. Boxing fans and critics are always in the talk. You beat one guy, they say you didn't fight that guy. The people that maybe might not be 100% sold on Bam right now might say, well, Bam hasn't fought nobody that's like, apart from Sonny Edwards, young and in their prime.
Right.
And Junto is a young. He can punch, he can box. He's a more complete fighter than a guy like Sonny Edwards. So that would be the intrigue of it for me. Bigger guy.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Junto,
Bam. Make it happen, man.
Make
it happen. We're gonna start promoting the fight.
Yes, we will. Let me see who else is in that division. Give me 1 second.
All right. But we got KO Kristy here, Kristyna. Make sure you guys go subscribe to her channel. Go run it up. Run up mine too, man. I'm trying to get to 100K, but
I'm trying to get to your level.
No. I'm trying to get to your level. Remember I told you in video, I said I'm trying to be like you. No, but one person I seen you interview, and it was like one of your first big interviews. It was Subriel Matias.
Oh yes.
Killer. They call David Benavidez the Mexican monster. This is the Puerto Rican monster.
Yes.
He's fighting Liam Paro on June 15th. Do you have any opinion on that fight, Liam Paro?
He's actually in a tough fight. It's going to be really interesting to see how he gets past Liam. I think Liam's a really great fighter, but he's been making these guys quit. I feel like I don't know.
Beating the brakes off of him, like left and right.
Yes, and the thing with him, I don't think he's like the most skilled boxer, I guess you can say. He just can hit. His punches are just solid punches, and I don't know, they're built different. He's built different from out there.
I think he's skilled in his own way. Like everybody, so? I think he's skilled in his own way. Like
I feel like he gets hit a lot.
He does. Not as much as he used to. I think his defense is tightened up a little bit.
Right.
But any volume puncher that's throwing that many punches is going to get hit.
No, that's true. That's true.
So it is what it is. I think like many years ago when I was younger, Vander Holyfield told me one time, a long time ago, he said, Brendan, you got to fight the fight that works for you. And so he fights what works for him. What works for him is pressing these dudes, and some people call them arm punches, but these arm punches, they just slowly beat and grind these guys down. So,
and the thing with him is he doesn't get tired. I don't think he doesn't really get tired. He just keeps going. He just keeps going. So I think he's actually one of my favorite fighters right now, because the whole thing with him, who was in that undercard when he was defending his title for the first time? Who was the main event? Do you remember?
His last fight?
Was it the first title defense? I think it was the last fight.
I'm drawing a blank here.
It was a PBC card.
Subriel Matias 25. Oh, Ergashev? Was it Ergashev?
Yeah, yes.
Uzbek. Yeah, Ergashev. That was in the undercard of Crawford. I think was it Crawford? It was either Canelo Charlo or Crawford Spence. I must say it was Canelo Charlo.
One of those.
Canelo Charlo.
Yes, one of those. So I was scheduled to interview, I think it was Hector Garcia, because he was in that undercard as well. But it turned out that Hector couldn't do the interview no more, and the PBC guy, he was like, Martin, I don't know if you met him. He was telling me that Hector couldn't end up making it, and if I wanted to, I could interview Subriel Matias instead. And I was like, okay, for sure. But this was like a day before the actual interview, so I was like, damn, now I got to study Subriel, like his whole life and everything. And it was actually really interesting to see his whole life. Like, he's been to prison, his whole situation about, unfortunately, killing somebody, in the ring. So
I watched that fight. It was crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is actually really cool. And then I interviewed him, and the interview got cut short because I guess I ran out of time. And I was like, man, I had all these questions left. And then
that's how it goes sometimes.
Yes. And then so I had to cut it short, but he was really sweet. And then I met him in person when Bam fought Sonny Edwards at the press conference, because one of his guys, I think his name is I forgot his first name, but his last name is Gonzalez. He trains with him.
Okay.
Kevin Gonzalez.
Kevin Gonzalez. Yeah, Kevin Gonzalez, the 122 pounder.
So he was out there supporting him, and I was like, Subriel, remember me? Like, I interviewed you, and he's like, oh yeah. So that gave me that opportunity to interview him again. So
yeah,
it all worked out. I felt like everything was meant to be to get that second interview. So, and he was super chill too. He's like, if you ever need another interview, like I'm all for it. And I was like, thank you so much. This is great. Yeah, but yeah, I think he's one of my favorite fighters. He's super exciting.
He is super exciting. Liam Paro fight's interesting because I don't want to say I know Liam personally, but I met Liam like in 2021 when nobody knew who he was. Like he was just in Vegas, training at this gym, and I know he has a lot of rounds in the bank with Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson and those guys. So I know he's gonna be sharp.
Yeah,
it's just anybody you could be as sharp as you want against Matias. The question is kind of like when you fight Junto Nakatani or Williams Pitt or one of these volume punchers. You gotta can you take
in there?
Yeah, can you withstand the heat? You know, because if you can't, it's gonna be a short night for you.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. If it's a long night, then you might be in some real trouble.
Yeah. Dang. I don't know. I feel like Subriel's gonna take it.
Okay, conventional wisdom says he should. I don't think. I've watched Liam fight a bunch of times, like 3 or 4 times. I don't think he's got like the firepower to keep Subriel off of him. But again, they fight the fights for a reason. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
I feel like Subriel's not gonna respect him. If he feels like his punches are not gonna hurt him, he's not gonna respect him.
That sounds about right.
He's just going to keep on going until you say, okay, no more. No more.
Yeah. And with him making these guys say no more, right? That sometimes
they call him no más tías.
No, I never heard that actually. So
yeah.
You put me on game. No más tías?
No más tías, yeah.
Okay.
Subriel no más tías.
I like that. I like that. A lot of guys don't want to fight him, or they're not eager to fight him. Like even
because it's a low risk. I mean,
high risk, low reward.
High risk, low reward. There we go. It's because he doesn't have the biggest name.
I get it.
Even though he's a champion, he doesn't have that name. But damn, he's gonna put up a great fight against any of the champions at 140.
I don't think it's fair to say that a champion is high risk. I feel like once you get a world title, okay, you're just a dangerous guy. You can't call him low reward because he has a world title. That's reward. That's
true. Yeah.
That's a bargaining chip you can use when you negotiate to get more money. So it's not low reward, but that's just how I think. What do you think about him against like if you had it your way, who's the guy you want to see Matias fight the most?
Teofimo. I want to see that fight so bad. The whole situation with the hand injury, and then I think Teofimo had February 8th already saved, and it couldn't be made. So I was just like, man, that sucks. But yeah, that's a really great fight. I think both fighters, they're both explosive. I feel like they're going to be talking smack to each other. Like,
they are.
It's going to be very interesting to see. Hopefully we're able to get that soon.
Yeah, Teofimo had those controversial comments about the Puerto Ricans that caused a big stir at the press conference for Jermaine Ortiz. So it's that could be that would be a great fight. I want to see. I know it probably won't happen because technically this guy's a 35-pounder, but he's fought at 40. I want to see Tank versus Super Matias.
Ooh,
that's the fight I want to see.
You think Tank will agree to that?
No, he wouldn't agree to it because the money wouldn't be enough, and it'd be a hard fight. And like when he fought Barrios at 140, Barrios couldn't make the weight, and so I don't think he would agree to it. But if in a perfect world, like if I was in charge and I can make those decisions, like that'd be the fight that would happen.
Do you think he'll ever move up to 140 like soon?
Tank?
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Only for it has to be the right fight. I don't think it would be for like a Subriel Matias. It has to be for like a big. If it's a fight that can't command upwards of 15 million or more, then he's not going to do it.
Right.
I don't think so.
See, and that's what I meant for like the high risk, low reward thing with the money wise, at least. Because a lot of these guys, they want the big money fights, fights. And I don't think Subriel will get them that big money fight.
No, not yet. That's why I think Eddie Hearn has to really box it. Like after the Paro fight, if he can't get a big fight, he needs to be back in the ring October, September. You need to keep him active. He's
going to be doing a lot of title defenses. That's for sure.
Yeah. Fighting a
lot of mandatories.
Yeah, every Puerto Rican boxing fan and Latin American boxing fan should know who he is.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I feel like he's always posting that his upcoming fight's almost sold out, no?
Yeah. Down there in Puerto Rico.
They love
him. I wanted to go to that fight, but you know, there's so much going on about. I mean, I know Tank is fighting Frank Martin that day. I think there's another card as well. Like, boxing has a way of like putting everything on the same day. So
I know it's gonna be interesting. I'm hoping to go to the Tank fight. I signed up for credentials, but we usually get the heads up a week before, so I don't know if I am or not.
Yeah,
plus, I come back from my graduation trip in June 13th, I believe. I believe the fight's on the 15th, so it's gonna be. If I do get accepted, it's gonna be crazy. That week's gonna be crazy. Traveling everywhere.
I'll probably. I mean, I don't know if I'll be. I'm gonna apply. I think I don't know. I don't know if I'll get it. PBC's with me, but
really?
I'm gonna apply. I would like to go and cover that fight with Tank. I like every time I ever talk to Gervonta Davis, we always have like the best moments.
I wanna interview him so bad.
He's a great interview. For me, he's a great interview.
Yeah.
You know, so it'd be great. Just quick thoughts on Frank Martin, Tank. You got any thoughts on that?
I think Tank's gonna take it. I think Tank's gonna take it. But Frank's gonna put up a good fight, though. I feel like he's really hungry for this. Their press conference, he looked really sharp. Not sharp. I don't want to say. I don't think sharp is the right word, but very focused.
Mentally focused.
Yes, very focused.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, they never had any beef or anything, but now it's a whole different ballgame. Like, he's like, bro, I want what you have. So
yeah, once you sign a contract, it gets very personal because they're trying to knock you off your pedestal. You know, take everything you have. So it becomes very personal. And I like the fight. I don't know if you agree with this, but I think Frank Martin is the most explosive fighter Tank has fought in his career. That's what I think. I mean, maybe you could say like a Pitbull Cruz, maybe, but I'm talking about like, I mean, it's just different. Like, it's different types of like explosiveness. Like Pitbull, Pitbull's a bit shorter and stockier, and he kind of grinds you down a bit more. Frank Martin, I mean, he's taller. He carries power for 12 rounds, and he's really hungry.
Yeah, he wants it.
It's think
really interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah, and I just think too, like, well, only thing for Frank is like, I don't know, have you watched him fight a lot, Frank Martin? Or?
Not a lot. I'm not gonna lie, not a lot.
He had so the guy that Shakur Stevenson's fighting next, Artur Haratunian, the German. I think
he gave him a good fight.
Gave him a very good fight.
He gave him. I think I saw that fight. He did give him a good fight.
That fight actually gave me a lot of encouragement for Frank because Frank carried power for the whole fight against a tough, rugged opponent. But my thing with Frank is like sometimes I feel like he doesn't understand like when he should be at a certain range. Like sometimes when he needs to be on the inside, he's on the outside, and sometimes when he's mid range. Like I just think that's where a fight against Tank will get very problematic for him because the ranges. You know, Tank's a very high IQ fight. I don't think Gervonta Davis gets enough credit for his IQ.
It's because he's knocking people out. He's knocking people out, and he doesn't to show it.
But the way he goes about it, takes IQ. Like everybody always says, Lomachenko is downloading information. Gervonta Davis is downloading information. Yeah. I want to see them fight. I want to see them guys fight. That would be a
great fight. Yeah, that would be a good fight. You think they'll make that?
I feel like if they were going to
voters, I don't know.
No, but if they were going to, the time would be now because I remember, you know, I've been on YouTube a long time, so I remember making videos way back when that was a thing, and Mayweather for years, the promotions they were saying like, oh, we don't got to fight him right now because you know he's old and we're young, we'll take our time, and so okay, you took your time, you've matured, he's on the way out, you're on the way up, make the fight.
Perfect timing,
and that would give Tank a chance to fight a common opponent with like Devin Haney, a guy that's fought Devin Haney. So if you go and you knock Lomachenko out, that's another like kind of feather in your cap.
Hell yeah, I agree.
Hopefully it happens. As far as I wanted to ask you, like, okay, so I've been saying a lot about fights I don't want to see, right? If you were the commissioner of boxing, Kristyna, let's say you're the one in charge. You're the boss lady. You make the decisions. What's the one fight that's getting made tomorrow? If you have the final say so, what's the number one fight you're making tomorrow in the whole sport of boxing?
I have to say the Benavidez and Canelo fight. I'm sorry, I just want to see that fight.
Why that one?
Because I feel like it's the perfect time right now. Like Canelo's, people have been saying like he's on his way out. He's on his way out. If he waits any longer, I mean, David's just getting stronger. Like, why are you pushing it away? You know. But I've been saying they're just marinating this fight. I still feel it's gonna either happen. I think actually Canelo, didn't they approve for him to fight? What's his name?
Williams. Who?
Skull.
William Skull.
Yeah, there
he's
you go.
the IBF mandatory.
I was like, wait, what's his name? Starts with an S.
William Skull's been the IBF mandatory for like a couple years now.
Yeah, so I think he's scheduled to fight him, but I still feel like early next year, maybe next year in May, they end up making the Benavidez fight. I'm really hoping. That's the fight I would make. That's the fight that should get made.
It'd be huge for boxing. I mean, it's been marinated for years. I like that fight's weird with me because like I've wanted to see Benavidez at light heavyweight for so long, you know. And so when he would call out Canelo, I never thought Canelo would fight him.
Actually, wait, let me take it back. Beterbiev Benavidez.
Ooh, now you're talking my language.
Beterbiev Benavidez. Let me take that back.
Why that fight?
Because I feel like that would be really exciting. I mean, David's getting into that division. Beterbiev is a high volume power puncher. It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Now you're talking because
I'm like, let me take it back.
Yeah, I remember I got mad at David because I remember. Do you remember when he missed weight? I forgot what fight it was for, but he missed weight one fight. I think it was Angulo or one of those fights, and the WBC moved him up to the light heavyweight rankings. He became the number one contender at light heavyweight when he missed weight at 168. Then they asked to be reinstated in the rankings at 168. So like. You could interpret it as a duck if you really wanted to, like, I guess, clutch for straws. But I felt like at that time he should have maybe just went ahead and made his own lane, you know, fought Beterbiev, maybe beat him. But it's still a great fight. If it happens now, it's still a great fight. And it'd be great to see David deal with somebody with that kind of firepower and skills and, you know, physical strength.
How do you see that fight playing out?
I have a very high opinion of Artur Beterbiev. Like, huge. I don't think he's ever going to lose.
Ever.
I think he's gonna retire undefeated.
Damn.
I'm not as confident because he keeps getting injured. But if he's healthy, I think just like he's one of the most complete fighters. Like, he can box, he can punch, he's tough. I mean, he
doesn't get credit for his boxing abilities.
No, he was a great boxer. I mean, I think he had like a 280 and like 5 record or something like that as an amateur. He dropped Usyk. He fought Usyk in the amateurs. He dropped Usyk.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. He actually he lost Usyk. It was a close fight. I believe it was a pretty close fight, but he wound up dropping him in one of their fights.
Good to know. You learn something new every day.
Every day, you learn things. I learn things. We all learn from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know with you being around the sport for so long, growing up in it, you've seen a lot of fighters. Who are your like top 3 favorite fighters ever? If you could name 3 fighters
ever or from the gym?
No, from this whole sport of boxing.
I don't agree with his stuff like outside of the ring, but I loved Floyd Mayweather inside. I loved him inside, and then ever? That's hard. He was the one that like at first like top of my head.
I'll extend it to 5. Maybe that'll make it easier. 5. We'll go 5.
Okay. From what I've experienced and saw, I really liked Marcos Maidana. Marcos Maidana was really exciting, and seeing him at the gym, like it was really cool.
That must be pretty cool.
Yeah, so him, Maidana. I gotta say Oscar. I really liked Oscar in the ring, what he accomplished, everything.
People forget what he accomplished. They always put him down for out of the ring stuff, but he was a great fighter.
Okay, so I have Mayweather, Maidana,
De La Hoya.
Damn, this is hard. There's so many great fighters. Can we say 3? Can we do top 3? I think
top 3. Yeah.
I think those 3.
Those 3, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good list. I like that list.
But if we're talking about fights, though, like
okay,
favorite fights that I remember. I loved these fights, and it was cool experiencing it live. Was Brandon Rios with Mike Alvarado.
Oh, that was a barn burner.
Those fights, the first one, it was amazing. I think it was the first one at the StubHub Center. That one,
and the War Grounds. I've never gone there ever. I've never gone there for a fight.
It's a really great stadium because everyone's watching like right there. Everyone has a good seat. No matter where you sit down at the StubHub, it's a great seat.
Hopefully I get to go to a fight there soon.
I don't even think it's called StubHub anymore.
No, it's the Dignity Health Sports Park. That's what it's called now. So, but it's still StubHub.
That was one of my favorite fights live. Most recently, it has to be Devin Haney with Ryan Garcia. That fight was so electric live.
So I wasn't there, but I could feel it through the TV screen. What was that like? Talk about it.
It was from the first round when Ryan connected him to the last round. Nobody was sitting down. Everybody was just standing up. And I'm short, so I had to stand on top of my chair. I can see. I was like, man, these guys are so tall. But yeah, it was amazing. And the crazy thing is, I wasn't able to get a credential for that fight, so I was just there as a fan, so I enjoyed it more. I was like, I wasn't working, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill out, and it was the most amazing time ever.
A fight I had a great time at recently that I went to was Raymond Ford versus Otabek Komotov. I went to that fight. That was like
he was there. Raymond Ford was at the fight. At the Ryan fight.
Yeah, he's from New Jersey, so it's right there. So
yeah.
But no, that fight was amazing. I mean, I couldn't believe he got a knockout in the 12th round. That shit was crazy. And then Chocolatita versus Cuadras at the Forum. That one was that was a crazy atmosphere because it was in Southern California, but like more of the arena was Nicaraguans. It was crazy. Like the Nicaragua chants were louder than the Mexico chants, and you never hear that in California.
Right.
So that was crazy, and it was a great fight.
They pull up.
They definitely did. They came all the way from Nicaragua to support their man.
That's how I felt when Mayweather fought Maidana the first fight. I went to that one, and even though Mayweather won, the Argentinian fans were just chanting Chino the whole night. It was really nice to see that.
Yeah, they're really good at getting behind their fighters, Argentina, and because they like soccer, so they bring that energy from soccer to boxing, singing and dancing, and
that whole atmosphere. That was probably one of my favorite fights to see live too.
Miguel Madonna,
the first one.
That was a great fight. I went to remember last year I went to Tank versus Ryan. That was a crazy fight.
That one was. I feel like that one was what got boxing like in a move.
Yeah, it did. That fight, I think, Inoue and Fulton happening as quick as it did. Like that was a big one for boxing because they didn't waste time. They just got to it. So it was a big thing. I got one more question for you, and then I'm gonna let you go because I know you've had a long day. If you could change one thing about boxing, what would it be?
I was talking about this with my mom not that long ago. When it's a championship fight, there shouldn't be ties or draws. Because if there is, shouldn't they both be champions? Why does one, let's say, for example, one of them has the belt, right?
Yeah.
And they're fighting. It ends up a draw. The one with the belt ends up keeping it, and the other one doesn't. So it's like, what's going on? There should be maybe one more round, because I think overtime boxing.
I was just gonna bring that up.
Doing that, so I'm like, that should happen for
universally,
fights. Championship fights. It shouldn't be championship fights. Shouldn't be draws.
I like that. Yeah, I the only way they could either do that or maybe make it odd number rounds so you can't score every round. It can't be even.
Yeah.
But I think they'll never say it, but I think they kind of want draws in boxing because sometimes draws can be good for business. Like the fights,
that's true. They can make another. They can make another
fight, make more money.
That's true. That's very true.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes.
What about you? What would you change?
Oh man, the number one thing I would change.
Where do I start?
Where do I start? But no, there's one thing. The one thing I would change is I would like boxing to start honoring mandatories more. I feel like mandatory challengers, because a lot of these mandatory challengers, they come from countries that don't have big backing or TV backing, or maybe where boxing is not the number one sport.
Right. So
these guys have to literally do everything right just to get into position, and then sometimes they get into position and then they don't get the shot right away. The best example I can give of this is in the heavyweight division, which is Filip Hrgović, right? He's the
you think on him.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
But he's a fantastic fighter.
Mhm.
He's the IBF mandatory challenger. He's been the IBF mandatory challenger since August of 2022 when he controversially beat Zhang, but he beat him. And like now he has to wait for Fury and Usyk to settle their thing. And now I think the IBF belt's gonna go vacant in June when he fights Dubois. But like he lost basically like, and then the crazy thing is before he even got mandatory, before he even got the Zhang fight, like 7 guys turned him down before they got the Zhang, like Michael Hunter and a bunch of other guys, Andy Ruiz. They didn't want to fight him because like now he's high risk, low reward.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
That's more what I'm talking about. He don't got a title, so that's he's more high risk, low reward. But I just think like because what happened, because when a guy becomes mandatory and then they don't honor the mandatory, then like if you get a big guy like Canelo who you want to see in the fight against Benavidez, then it's like, okay, well now he's got to fight William Skoll, and then everyone's like, well, who's William Skoll? But William Skoll was the mandatory for 2 years, so it's like I just wish they would be quicker about honoring the mandatories.
Okay, that's a really good breakdown for that.
Yeah, I try. Kristyna, look, it's been like an hour just flew by.
That was crazy. That didn't even feel like an hour.
So I hope you had a good time. I had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Before I let you go, is there any final message you want to give to people about yourself, your channel, what you got going on?
Yeah, just subscribe to me, guys. I know this is I'm barely getting into, I guess you can say, that boxing industry a little bit more. So I'm still kind of getting out of my comfort zone, but I feel like this is it's helping me a lot. Like, so just, I like talking with guys, with all you guys on my YouTube channel. No, it's really cool just like replying to people and then just seeing the support that I'm receiving. It's very heartwarming. So I just want to say thank you guys, and thank you for having me on as well. I feel like this is a really great way for both of our channels to grow.
Sure.
And yeah, I don't know. I love the sport. I'm a genuine fan of it. So I want to know what you guys want to know. So I feel like it would be a perfect way for both of us to learn about these fighters together.
For sure. And like I said, I mean, I've seen a lot of people come and go over the years. You definitely know the sport. Mm-hmm. So, thank Kristyna, Ramirez, KO, Kristy. Make sure y'all go run it up and go subscribe to her. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right. I appreciate it.
Stay on though. Hold on.
Okay.